Coca-Cola workers are on strike in Indiana, and that strike has now expanded into Toledo. We hear from those on the picket line. And social media is buzzing with coyote sightings in Northwest Ohio, with one woman saying her dog was attacked by one. Why there's so many being seen right now?
Well, we had a warm spring feeling day. How about some spring-like thunderstorms are going to roll into the area? We're going to target the timing of that. Should be near or after 9 o'clock. We'll break down the risk and when much colder weather returns. It's in my 10-day forecast coming up.
Thanks for joining us on WTOL 11 News on Plus. I'm Kaylee Maritet. Let's take a look at your top stories for this Wednesday night. Workers at the Coca-Cola facility in Fort Wayne, Indiana are on strike, and that strike is now in Toledo. Toledo's Teamsters Local 20 started picketing on Monday, leaving the Coca-Cola bottling facility in North Toledo empty. Those striking include the drivers and merchandisers who put the products on the shelves. According to the president of Teamsters 414 in Fort Wayne, the company proposed increasing health insurance costs, but refused to provide workers with information pertaining to the increased costs. The union members rejected the company's final offer, which proposed a 1 cent per hour minimum wage increase over years 2, 3, and 4 of employment. The union has filed an unfair labor practice charge with the National Labor Relations Board. The union has accused Coca-Cola of hiring non-union workers to replace striking workers. Here's what the president of Teamsters 414 had to say.
They're sticking together shoulder to shoulder, and they need a good contract, a fair contract, and the company bargained in bad faith by not giving us that information to make a full economic proposal to get us to the end of this contract.
According to the union, the strike was expanded to Toledo because Coca-Cola brought in a negotiator from Toledo to Fort Wayne to negotiate on behalf of the company. The union plans to expand the strike to other locations in order to pressure the company back to the negotiating table. Coca-Cola Consolidated released this statement to WTOL 11. It reads, quote, "We are disappointed that Teamsters Local 20 has decided to take our teammates out on strike in support of another local. The company implemented its last best final offer in Fort Wayne on March 17th. Operations at the Fort Wayne and Toledo facilities continue. Our priority and focus continues to be serving our customers," end quote. Toledo's mayor and city council members could be getting pay bumps soon. The Salary Review and Recommendation Commission has suggested salary increases for the city's leaders. Sophia Pericone brings us the details.
Toledo's next mayor and city council members could be in line for big pay raises. The Salary Review and Recommendation Commission recommended Tuesday a 12% increase for the mayor and an 8.6% bump for council members.
The main thinking for everyone involved was to offer a cost of living adjustment and not just give a flat out raise, just to keep the payment to be current to what it is today.
If approved by City Council, the Commission's co-chair, Raina Dawson, said the next mayor's yearly salary will jump from $136,000 to $152,320. That would come at 3% increases each year for the 4-year term, while council member salaries will go up from $45,000 to just under $49,000.
I think the question that the committee is pondering is whether the salaries are where they need to be to recruit talented people to the office.
Salaries are reviewed and voted on every 4 years, but this year the recommendation wasn't unanimous.
My biggest reason is the city operates at a deficit.
Sally Pers was the only member of the 7-person commission not at Tuesday's meeting. All 6 present did vote to raise the mayor's salary, but Pers still sent a letter ultimately recommending the commission not boost pay for the mayor nor council members. Per the city's charter, council members are part-time employees.
They are paid $45,000 each for that part-time position. Some may choose to work it full-time, but by law, it's a part-time position. They also have a full benefits package, which is worth $17,500.
Dawson says a different member who works for a local university abstained from voting on council salary increases, citing the low pay their colleagues make.
The numbers were talked about extensively. I've heard from more than one person that we, as a commission, we asked the city for more information than any other salary review commission had in the past.
The Review Commission will now draw up a report to present to Council by April 1st. If Council approves these increases, they'll go into effect for the next group of elected officials, whether it's for those who are re-elected or those newly elected. A new scam alert in Toledo. This one involves those who won awards from the Best of Toledo competition. The Toledo City paper offers plaques for winners that they can buy. Recently, winners got calls posing as the paper, charging winners up to $300 for their plaque instead of just the actual $90. Co-publisher Mark Jacobs said they wouldn't reach out to winners about buying plaques.
It's important that people understand that if you want the official plaque, you can contact us, and for a fairly modest fee, I think the $90, you can demonstrate that and showcase that to people that visit your location, customers, clients, etc.
The last piece of advice: if you think you've been scammed, you should call police. Plans are moving forward to fill the empty lot where Kmart used to be on Navarre Avenue in Oregon. According to a social media post from the city of Oregon, the city received plans for the first building on the property. Staff will be meeting next week with the architect to discuss it. Once we learn more details, we'll be sure to let you know. Chris?
Our weather impact for tonight is going to be in the wake of spring feeling temperatures. Some storms are going to fire up late, and the risk of a few strong to severe storms will be possible, and we'll get very specific with the timing. From 9 p.m. through about 1 a.m., it's going to be a window where a few strong to severe storms will be possible. But did you enjoy today? That spring feel took us through the upper 60s towards 70 degrees. A windy day, and those winds are still gusting across the area. We have had increasing clouds. And let's look where the storm action is right now across eastern Illinois, western Indiana. There's a line of some strong to severe storms really reaching what is likely the peak intensity right now and will be diminishing somewhat as we go after 9 p.m. as they continue to race across Indiana, and a few storms that are severe warned at this point right along I-70. Some good clusters of storms that include some heavy downpours, large hail, and damaging winds. We have had a couple tornado warnings, and here's a pair of them right now that are just south of Chicago, now crossing the Indiana state line. That is a pair of tornado warnings that are headed toward I-65. We're going to watch this very close, and again, after 9 p.m. is when they're expected to potentially reach our area in a weakening state, but still they may carry the risk of some strong to severe storms. So here's the hour-by-hour forecast. Here's those clusters of storms from Chicago down into western Indiana. Here's the clock starting right now, and as we go forward through about 9 p.m., those storms are going to be moving across central Indiana and eventually crossing into northwest Ohio. Storm threat's going to be increasing before midnight here in the Toledo metro, and these storms could pack some gusty winds, large hail, and it's not a non-zero risk, but a very low chance we could still have an isolated tornado even as we go after dark tonight. So watch that in northwest Ohio. It is a possibility. Storm threats gone by 1 a.m. And here's what's going to happen as we get into tomorrow. First day of spring. It is not going to feel like it. A couple cold rain showers. And look here, it is going to be cold enough. We may mix in a few wet snowflakes. Yeah, nothing says spring in northwest Ohio and southern Michigan like some snowflakes to enter into the new upcoming season. We're going to be much colder and brisk as we go through the day on Thursday. It may start in the 40s, but we're not going to feel like that. Dropping back to the low 40s into noon, and then eventually upper 30s late in the day. Winds are still going to be howling, and the chance we get some scattered rain showers. You may be thinking, all right, we need some warmer weather then, much like we just enjoyed that little tease on the final full day of winter. 52 the high on Friday, brighter and a little warmer. Back into the 40s for the weekend. Rain chances both Saturday and on Sunday. Mid 40s on Monday of next week, and it doesn't get very pretty into next week. Highs in the low to mid 40s. As we go to Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday will keep us well below average through the end of March. Kaylee, back over to you.
Well, coyote sightings are more common this time of year because it's mating season, and many on social media are talking about seeing them more and more. Except more coyotes means more chances of pets getting attacked. Dominique O'Neill sat down with one woman who says her dog died from a recent attack.
We're all devastated, and it's a month later. But if we can do something to maybe thin them out a little bit.
That's Mary, who lives in Wood County, who doesn't want us to use her full name. She's telling me about the moments her dog Winnie was attacked in Maumee back in February.
And 5 coyotes attacked her and dragged her down the hill. And by the grace of God, they let her go.
But sadly, Winnie is not here due to the severe injuries. Mary says Winnie had over 50 puncture wounds.
Her lung was collapsed and a head injury.
About 2 weeks ago, we saw a coyote about 10 o'clock in the morning come through our side yard and crossed over.
Jim Cobble has lived in Maumee for more than 25 years. He says since he's lived in the Maumee area, coyotes have been present.
I'm not anti-coyote. I think they're beautiful animals. I really do. But we've got a population explosion. We've seen them in our general area.
According to the Ohio Department of Natural Resources, the increased sightings are as a result of the breeding season, which runs from late January to March. During this time, coyotes are more active and they are searching for a mate. The range of coyotes also extends during the mating season. He says it's urgent that some safety measures are put in place.
I'm just not trying to scare people, but we're coming into a point in the year that people are going to be out and about, and I'm just fearful what we're going to be seeing if action is not taken promptly.
And Koval is taking his concern to the city and animal control. In the meantime, Mary says she doesn't want this to happen to anyone else.
We all have to come together and figure this out. So no one else has to go through this.
The walleye run is just around the corner, meaning fire departments around the area are preparing for possible rescues. Twice a year, the Maumee Fire Department and other stations take a month to practice boater safety in water rescues. According to Lieutenant Heckman with Maumee Fire, swift-moving currents, a rocky bottom, and fast-rising tides are all dangers that fishermen can face. The lieutenant says these situations are exactly what first responders train for.
Today we threw dummies in the water. We're practicing kind of swift water where we're coming up to them with the current. It's very windy, seeing if we can haul them up in the boat and prevent them hopefully from drowning. I would actually take somebody experienced out with me if I could, and if not, learn as much as you can about water conditions and river fishing and things like that.
The Maumee Fire Department and others will continue training for the next couple of weeks. An entire country doing online schooling was unheard of before 2020. COVID-19 forced school leaders and state officials to make those changes. Ohio became the first in the nation to shut down schools. That extended spring break turned into the rest of the school year. Area superintendents were leading their districts with hope that each choice was a good one.
But having to make decisions in real time that could have an impact on children, families, and the community. That was a big challenge. There's no yellow book for dummies about how to maneuver a pandemic. That yellow book, there's no yellow book for that.
Every night this week, we'll bring you a new story looking back at the pandemic and how it changed our community. You can view the catalog of stories here on WTOL 11+ or on our website. With March Madness on the mind, let's take a look at our local college basketball team as the Rockets enter the first round of the WBIT. Tyler Segerman is here with us tonight. Tyler, break this down for us.
Yeah, so Toledo women of it unfortunately missed out on the NCAA tournament because they lost to Ball State on Saturday, but their postseason aspirations didn't go away because they won more than 20 games this year and finished second in the conference. So what that means is Toledo will now have another opportunity to chase some more hardware. Like you mentioned, the first round of WBIT kicking off tomorrow night. They're going to host Minnesota, although the Rockets are 0-2 against the Big Ten this year with losses to Iowa and Maryland. They've also experienced plenty of postseason tournament success with wins in each of the last 3 seasons. Not to mention, Ginny Bogus and her team are coming off 2 victories in the MAC tournament. And despite Saturday's loss, Toledo is now shifting its focus at another run toward a different title.
It's the most special. There are a lot of teams that aren't playing right now, and those teams work every day like we work. And so we are very, very fortunate to still be alive. It's a testament to their hard work and the body of work that we had this year in the regular season and then in the postseason against the MAC. But we've got about